So, back with Gaz. I'm officially 7 days out today. So it's kind of the start of peak week training. I just got my rough plan from Andy over earlier, kind of how we're going to approach this last week. That's kind of how I knew we were going to approach it. So, thankfully, today's the lowest day I've done cardio throughout the whole the prep, thank fuck. So I had no fasted cardio this morning, and I've only got 15 minutes of cardio, post-workout cardio, and that's it. Just on the treadmill. I've been told explicitly to lower all the loads I use today training legs and to not take a single set to failure. I've kind of always approached peak week training this way, but not the rest of it. So this is one of the main reasons I started working with Andy. It wasn't anything to do with off season or anything like that. I approached my bodybuilding in a very long term sense in terms of the way someone would maybe approach their career and pick who they're going to work for. It's the same thing. Like in the off season, it's fairly simple what you got to do. You got to put on some muscle, eat a lot of food, and train hard. Anyone can do that. The hard part when it comes to dieting and stuff and knowing your own body and having a coach know your own body is the peaking part. And sadly, every prep I've done that I quote unquote peaked for, I never look my best on stage. It just drives me absolute fucking nuts. For anyone that competes in anything, it's like just knowing you're never your best when it matters just boils my blood, because I know I can be as good as I want to. I know I can beat the people I want to beat. I know I can achieve what I want to achieve in the sport, but I can't do that when I keep falling short of the mark when I'm on stage. Anyone can look good in the gym taking photos. The whole world's filled with people like that. It's when you're on stage that counts. Anyway, so no food changes yet. I think he's planning to put food in Wednesday, Friday, but we won't need much carbs. I've been pushing, I think the last high day I had was maybe 4 weeks out. A good while ago, and even then it wasn't a lot of food. It really wasn't a lot of food. I don't know if it's lucky or not, I just don't seem to go flat as quick as people think they go flat, which allows me to achieve the conditioning I have achieved. This is the absolute best I've ever been. So that was, see if you can zoom in. That was this morning. So I'm pretty happy with how I'm looking. Seeing all new types of deep lines and stuff on my legs that I've not seen before. So very, very, very happy with how I'm looking. So now the key is just not to fuck up. So as we continue to diet, as we get closer to the show, and as we kind of back off on the training and kind of let my body chill, Andy and I are both pretty certain that all the new lines, more lines and more hardness will kind of start to come through in my physique. Anyway, so health subs first. Always like when I get up, I'll put them all in a cup, but then I think it's just prep brain, I forget to take them straight away. I tend to break them down into like types. So I do like the soft gel ones, because there's so many, and I can do all of them in one, I'd rather not. So the capsule ones, which is the most. And then I like the hard powdery ones. Oh. I'll be a bad game man, I've got a shit haircut. Anyway, so that's what the health subs. So that is Support Max joint, Tuscan NAC, ubiquinol, horse chestnut, vitamin B6, saw palmetto, Vit K2, olive leaf, magnesium biglycinate, Vit D3, Vit C, omega 3, ashwagandha, potentially something I'm forgetting. I think that's it. But anyway, yeah, I'm very excited to get on stage. But yeah, kind of You can tell I'm still like low on food and energy because my like brain jumps from like thought to thought more than normal. What was I talking about? But yeah, anyway, the aim from now to basically Thursday, I think is the last training day. It's just to ease off, let the body kind of get some life back to it. I've still got cardio to do on Monday, but it's just 20 minutes fasted. No food changes until then, but that's fine. Tomorrow's the last like hard day, so I've got an hour in the morning fasted cardio, and then 45 minutes pre last meal. But that's it. It's always easier to approach these types of days when you know you're like at the arse end of it, which is nice. And I've been given the day after the show, so the show's on the Saturday. I've been given the Sunday off of the diet. So I've probably gotten too excited and like planned it too much, but I've not had a proper cheat meal since the first week of April, so a good 5 months. So to say I'm excited to have a burger is an understatement. And luckily, living with a baker, I don't know how many times we've been sat on the sofa and she'll get her little notepad and pen out and be like, right, what am I baking you for your show? So she's made me, I think it's actually in the fridge if you open it up. Yeah, so she made me some shortbread thing, which I don't really know what it is. I mentioned it to her ages ago when we first started dating. There was a video of Flex Lewis. He had this like cookie crumble type thing that his wife had made him. It had all these different things on it, and it was like, I think he called it cookie crack or something. And I sent her it ages ago, this like May or something, being like, oh, we're together when I compete next year. I'd love it if you made me this. Lo and behold, she's remembered. So she made me that. She's making me some blondies, a couple cupcakes, and then like 8 different cookies. So I'll have more than enough food, and then go out for food for pretty much breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the Sunday. But I'm more excited about just having a day off of like not having to think about when my next meal is, not having to think about cardio, not having to think about all the little things that go into a bodybuilding day. We're just actually having the day off and letting my brain chill. So I'll most likely have my phone off, which will be nice. Very excited. So plus because all the order of all my shows, once this first one's kind of knocked down out of the way, the rest of them will kind of fall like dominoes. I've got 2 weeks between the Scottish and the Two Bros, which I'm doing in Bournemouth, and then a week between the Bournemouth show and then the PC in Midlands. And then I decided not to do the Arnold's, not for any other reason other than it's an international show and I don't quite feel I'm at the level that would warrant a top 6 or top 10 placing, and it's a very expensive show to do that. It was going to cost me upwards of about £850-900 just for the weekend, which is fine, but again, for a show that I'm kind of wanting to just do for the sake of doing, it's a lot of money to shell out. So plus that's another show, it's another peak week because I'm not having to pull me down and fill me out and stuff like that. So I'd rather just have the 4 weeks between the Midlands and the British to nail that British show. So yeah, exciting stuff. Peak week training really sucks because my energy is finally starting to come back, but then I'm having to be like, oh nope, don't train too hard. So I'd normally do an actual back squat, but with it being peak week or
7 days out, it makes a little bit more sense to pick something that's gonna get as much stimulation as I can into the quad without putting on massive strain on my central nervous system. Because again, the aim of the game from now to the show is getting as fresh as possible. So initially in my head I was like, oh, I'll do a Smith squat, but I struggle to get under the bar and to use a weight that's still going to challenge my quads. On the Smith, I'd still have to put 3-4 plates aside on. Whereas at the moment, I've been doing these on my hamstring day, and I connect far superior to my quad with them, and I can really focus on the technique to get the quad firing. So my last little warm-up set, and then I'll just hit the 36 for my proper set. I will never enjoy this part of training for the show. It's always gotta like fight the inner need to not train, to just get what needs to get done. It feels very counterintuitive to kind of pull back in it, like plan to pull back as I start to feel better. It'd actually be quite funny to compare the first video to like the very last video before like the prep's done in terms of my face, because you can see my cheeks have like sucked in. Old me to me now. At night it gets bad. At night they like get really drawn in, especially after like tomorrow night. Send you a selfie after I get off my second round of cardio, and my face is always like really drawn in after cardio. No idea why. Don't know if it's because like I'm sweating, so my face gets drawn in or not. But as I can now to really just nail it. You've only got a limited amount of time on stage. As much as the work will be done when I get to the venue on the Saturday, it's not done until you've hit your last pose and you're off stage. So as much as the training side of stuff's done, the cardio side of stuff's done, the posing is not. So as of Monday, because I made up my routine ages ago. For people unfamiliar to bodybuilding, your routine is like it's probably one of the parts that's most interesting for people that don't pay attention to bodybuilding, but it's also like the most kind of odd, because it's a choreographed routine to music you do for a minute. So it's very much when as my mum likes to put it, the showman of the bodybuilder comes out. And my coach Andy, phenomenal at posing. So when I start prep this year, I was very much like, right man, my posing routine needs to be somewhat decent because I can't let the side down. But I've not been practicing because of time. So every day as of Monday up to the show, I'm going to practice the routine an hour a day, and by then I'll be like proper. Ironically, because I'm so used to doing so much cardio post-training, I've been like double and triple checking how much cardio I've been meaning to do today or the past couple of days, because I'm like, no, surely that's not all it is. But yeah. So anyway, so I got a couple questions on my thing. So one of them, best cutting stack. So I'm assuming this guy's meaning drugs. Sadly, the best putting a disclaimer here as well. The best cutting stack is a calorie deficit. I've used everything short of DMP, which is really just rat poison. It boils, from my knowledge of it, which is limited, like overheats your cells, so you're just burning everything. I've used everything short of that. And this prep is the prep I've used the least amount of PD use ever. And it's the best shape I've been in. Started it in the best shape I've been in. I've used all the same drugs, things work better when your body's working better. So like a little bit of T3 and a little bit of Clen will work, but it won't work nearly as good as doing your cardio and sticking to your diet and not cheating. It's not the answer you want, but it's like, same question, what's better, fixing my current car or buying a new one? Fixing your current car, it's going to cause so many less issues. It sounds preachy, it sounds too simple, but it's just the truth. It drives me nuts. People, when it comes to bodybuilding, people assume like drugs do the work. And the amount of people I know and have met over the years that have used more than I've ever used and have like a fraction of the amount of muscle tissue I have, or my friends have, or my clients have, is ridiculous. People hear drugs or PD use or steroids or whatever and then assume, oh, I can just take a little bit, I'll take some of this and train the same way and I'll get the physique I want. It's nowhere near the same. It's like, you could put me in a Formula 1 car, does not mean I'm going to drive like Lewis Hamilton. You still need to apply yourself in this. It goes the same with training. Another one, sex drive, on and off cycle. Why are these always about drugs? So currently, my sex drive on prep, sorry Sarah, my sex drive on prep's been, it's hard to tell because as prep started I got busier and busier and busier with work to the extent I nearly quadrupled my client roster and started up 2 other businesses. So like, my sex drive wasn't high, not because of any particular reason other than I was shattered every time I got into bed because I was getting up at 5, doing cardio and getting everything up and done. But typically, my sex drive tends to dwindle around about the 2 weeks out mark. Just because I'm tired and certain stuff you add in affects that. In terms of off season, I've not once had an issue with sex drive. If you're having any issues with your sex drive, if you're not competing in bodybuilding but you're using performance enhancing drugs, you're best getting your bloods checked out and looking into stuff because you're probably taking too much. It's the one thing that always makes me laugh is, people talk about Trent. I love taking Trent, but turn into an arsehole. You're most likely an arsehole. Same with drinking or like smoking weed. It'll just amplify what you're already like. So if you're a bit of an aggressive person and you get really drunk, you're more than likely that person's going to become overly aggressive when they're drunk. Yeah? It's the same thing with steroids. Like, if you're an arsehole prior to using any performance enhancing drugs and then start adding exogenous testosterone and anything else like it, you're just going to turn into, excuse my French, a cunt. Whereas like, same goes to your sex drive. If you've already got like high sex drive and you add in exogenous hormones, your sex drive is just going to go through the roof. Plain and simple. And like missing out on food and stuff. And in large part, it's all up here. Like knowing that, yeah, that's today's rant with Kieran done. Session was good. I got the pump I needed to do. I don't feel battered, which is kind of the aim. And I'm seeing some more lines starting to come through my physique. Every day I pose now, so like even compared to this morning when I posed versus what 10-15 minutes ago, there's some more lines I'm starting to see, which is good. Should start seeing the physique change daily now and just really starting to come alive. But yeah, that's it. Hard to kind of explain. Since like when I first competed in bodybuilding, I was like 16, 17. That was the last time I competed in Scotland. I kind of said to myself like, right, I need to do this, this, and this, and then I'll compete again in Open in Scotland and that'll be when I can really take it seriously, because I won't be competing against people like I'm 5'4", 5'5" in the best of days. Like I'm never going to really truly beat someone that's like 5'11", because naturally they're going to have at least 30 pounds on me on stage minimum. I always kind of had that in my head. Once I get into the open class and I can compete against fellow midgets, that'll be like me really finding my way into bodybuilding world and making a name for myself, which has kind of happened. Like everything I've kind of planned when I was 16, 17 to happen now that has happened the past 6 months, which is really fucking weird, surreal. It's like as excited as I am to stand on stage, I'm also like, not necessarily imposter syndrome, but like a sprinkling of it. And a little bit of nerves because, like I said earlier, like it's the first time I've had so many people come to see me compete. It's not an issue being on stage, it's not an issue with posing, it's not an issue in terms of that sense. It's just not even letting people down, it's just the social side of it. Like as I get deeper into prep, I tend to go into myself. I don't want to talk, and I don't want to be rude to anyone. I don't want to be kicking about at the show before I get on stage and completely like cold shoulder someone. And I know I end up doing that, and that's what's kind of giving me the nerves. So I might get Sarah to make me a sign being like you know when you see those dogs where it's just like, and they've got the harness and it's like, give room, give way, anxious dog. Like I know I'll be fine after the show's completely done, the overall's done, my class is done, the overall's done, and the show's done. I can stand and chat to folk, and I'll be fine then. It's up till then I'm nervous about. But it's only for this show. Whereas like the Bournemouth show is literally, my mum might be coming, but other than that, it'll literally just be me and Sarah, and I don't know anyone who's competing. So like, I can very much just turn up, find a little cubby hole in the back, sit down, chill, be on my own, listen to music, wait for like my name to be called, my class to be called, get on stage, do what I need to do, get into the overall, same thing, and then once I'm done, I can fuck off with Sarah. It's the exact same thing. It's the sheer amount of people I'll know at the show. That is it. It's the only thing I'm nervous about, which is an odd thing I'm finding to be nervous of. But yeah.